Selena Gomez cut grinding up against a co-star she's not in a relationship with. Dave Grohl admits to fathering a child outside his marriage, and Megan Fox calls it quits with MGK. These are celebrities caught in cheating scandals. So Selena Gomez found herself in the middle of some drama a few months back after a video was released of her dancing with Edgar Ramirez, her co-star from Emilia Perez, at a Sabrina Carpenter concert in New York. Now, what's so bad about a little dancing? I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? Well, it depends on the type of dancing. The type of dancing you do with your family member at your wedding, that's fine. Grinding your bits up on each other, different kind of realm. Usually your partner's gonna frown upon that. This dancing seemed to fall more into that category. People online were calling it a bit too intimate. In the video, you can see Selena kind of grinding up on Edgar, with him even getting behind her for a moment before taking some pics of the group. This clip quickly went viral, and some folks were all over it, saying that it just looked off because she's supposedly in a relationship with Benny Blanco. Speaking of Benny, he and Selena started dating in July of 2023, around her birthday. Fast forward to December, and she even went public about their relationship, posting a sweet message on Instagram saying that he was, quote, everything in her heart. Hearts contain two ventricles, veins, muscle, arteries, all very romantic stuff. But just when things seemed steady, rumors started swirling after this dance video, especially since Selena had tagged Benny in another post just earlier that night. Well, that was 3 months ago. The latest news is the two are now engaged, so I guess they sorted it all out. Selena posted a pic showing off a sparkly ring, captioned, "Forever begins now." Dave Grohl, former drummer of a little band called Nirvana, and founder, lead singer, and guitarist of Foo Fighters, funny, charming, an overall good guy to everyone he meets, unless you're married to him, in which case you get cheated on. No, this hasn't just happened once. Dave Grohl is no stranger to the spotlight. He's also no stranger to relationship drama. Grohl first tied the knot with Jennifer Leigh Youngblood in 1994. They eventually divorced in 1997, after Grohl admitted to cheating. Then in 2003, Grohl married Jordan Bloom, the woman who would become the mother of his 3 daughters. Sounds like he might have learned his lesson, but not exactly. In September of 2024, Grohl dropped a bombshell on Instagram, admitting that he not only cheated, but had gotten a woman pregnant, a woman who was not his wife. He wrote, "I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage." Going back in time again though, he also had a relationship with a snowboarder named Tina Basic in the 90s. She dated Grohl for 2 years, and surprise, surprise, she alleged that he was seeing another woman while they were together. In her memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, she said she found out through the grapevine. I don't know how anyone in this profession can have a normal relationship with a girlfriend, or 2, as it turned out. Grohl didn't give her the truth until she pushed for it, and she said all she got was a 5-minute phone call after weeks of calling him and hearing rumors. So yeah, Dave Grohl's got a history with decisions, but at least he's owning up to them now, saying he's, quote, doing everything he can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. But here's the thing, I just don't think some folks are meant for monogamy. So if you don't know, NBA star Tristan Thompson cheated on the mother of his kids not once but twice, from what we know, maybe even 3 times or more, when she was pregnant. Who is the mother? Well, she's a much less famous person named Khloe Kardashian, part of a very large and confusing family, the members of which I often confuse with one another. Now, after years of being the guy who just can't seem to keep it in his pants, Thompson decided to do some damage control. He decided to apologize for all the chaos he'd caused, and there were a few key members of Khloe's family on the list. He'd already sat down with Kris Jenner and Rob Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, and Kylie and Kourtney. Now, Kylie was not rolling out with the welcome mat. She admitted to being, quote, a little nervous to talk to Tristan, and you can't really blame her. I mean, this is the guy who kissed her best friend, Jordan Woods, at a party back in 2019. Tristan knew he messed up though, and owned up to it, saying, "The fact that I came with my poor decisions and being an effing idiot and just being young and stupid, I just want to say I'm sorry again for that." He really went on the apology tour. Now, Kylie took it surprisingly well and insightfully and graciously exclaimed, quote, "I appreciate that." But then she went on to talk about how tough it was to lose Jordan because it felt like losing a sister. Now, don't panic, Jordan didn't die from the kiss. Kylie just didn't appreciate her friend kissing the partner of one of her family members on the lips and decided to stop being friends with her. Kylie didn't let him off the hook either, saying, "I think you have such a good heart, good energy, and to know you is to love you, your spirit and everything, so it is confusing." Because some of the you do is really effing crazy. Next up on this apology tour was Kourtney Kardashian, who had zero interest in pretending everything was fine. She asked the tough questions like, the next day after you do the deed, do you feel anything? Hopefully it wasn't a red bumpy sore. Tristan's answer though, for me personally, when I cheat, I feel disgusted the next day with guilt. Well, this man sure does like the feeling of disgust and guilt, because he's done it a lot. The fact that he even said, when I cheat, like he's talking about a slightly embarrassing eating habit. Kourtney asked him why he kept doing it, and Tristan said he was, quote, just cheating for an action, just cheating for a feeling, going on to say it also came down to not knowing how to love. The two first got together in 2016, and just days before they were about to welcome their daughter, True, into the world in 2018, he was caught cheating on Khloe with multiple women. They tried to make it work for the sake of their newborn, but then in 2019 the Jordan scandal happens, and of course Tristan and Khloe went through a breakup, but like clockwork they rekindled their romance after some time apart. In 2021 though, it came out that Tristan fathered a child with another woman, Marley Nichols, while secretly still dating Khloe. And while the paternity scandal was blowing up, Tristan had actually encouraged Khloe to do an embryo transfer so they could have a second baby via surrogate. Khloe touched on all that, saying, it's done. My son is here, your other son is here, and some of my family's emotions have settled down. Not forgotten, not forgiven, not any of that, but settled down. So they're trying to co-parent and move on, but the damage is still there. I just don't think anything will change. Again, some people just really aren't wired for monogamous relationships, which is okay. Just don't get into one, you know? Now, who in their right mind cheats on Megan Fox? Well, MGK cheats on her, apparently. MGK, or Colson Baker, if you're feeling formal, found himself in some pretty hot water with Megan Fox. Megan dumped him after discovering some suspicious text messages from other women on his phone. While they were off in Colorado for Thanksgiving, Megan decided to do a little snooping. Never recommended, but maybe she had her suspicions and just needed to confirm. Well, she found enough evidence to call it quits. An insider revealed she, quote, found text messages involving other women and decided she was done. And yes, she actually did have some trust issues with him before going through his phone. Apparently, she'd been suspicious of his past behavior, but like a lot of us, she thought maybe with time he'd settle down. She even got pregnant with his baby. She was really hoping to make it work, but the messages were just the last straw. She ended their 4-year relationship just 2 weeks after announcing she was expecting their first child together. Meanwhile, MGK, not one to handle a breakup with a normal person apparently, went a bit off the rails. He was reportedly smashing guitars, smashing glasses on his head. He'd actually gone to rehab to try and save the relationship before. He admitted on a podcast, quote, I didn't tell anyone outside of the people closest to me when he made the decision to check himself into rehab a year ago. MGK also credited Megan for helping him through his struggles with substances, saying, Megan has been extremely helpful in dealing with the kind of psychological withdrawals that come with getting off what I'm gonna have to call substances here on YouTube. Now, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Get a little nostalgic. It was 2012. Barack Obama's presidency was in full swing. Jersey Shore was coming to an end. People thought the world was going to end. And a little series called Twilight ruled the world, and for many, ruined vampires forever. It was a time where Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson were two of the most famous people in the world. They were also one of the world's most famous couples, but then tragedy struck. On July 17th of 2012, Kristen Stewart was caught cheating on Robert Pattinson with Rupert Sanders, the director of Snow White and the Huntsman. She met him on set because she starred in that movie. I figured some of you at least would need a reminder on that. Does anyone remember that movie existed? Anyway, the scandal left Stewart, quote, devastated for tarnishing her relationship with Pattinson. All these years later, both couples have long since ended their relationships, but just to drudge up the memories for entertainment purposes, here's what happened. It was August of 2011 when shooting on Snow White and the Huntsman began. There were rumors even at the time that Stewart was early every day for work, but about a year later, Stewart met up with Sanders in LA and the two were caught making out. They spent the afternoon evading paparazzi and groping and kissing in between. Sanders, who is married with children, reported being remorseful after the news hit and his wife, found out. Stewart regretted it, but most importantly, all those twinkling vegetarian vampire lovers, their lives would never be the same again. It turned out true love was just a lie.
We all have friendships we regret, but I'm pretty sure Ashton Kutcher is regretting ever being friends with Puff Daddy. So his current relationship with his old pal is, how do I say it? Uncomfortable. But the That 70s Show star should have known to walk away a long time ago. After all, Puff Daddy himself warned Ashton that things could go sideways. That threat, if you will, goes back to the days of Punk'd, the MTV prank show that Ashton hosted from 2003 to 2007. The show was originally going to just pull jokes on everyday folks until there was an early prank involving a fake body, always hilarious, that resulted in a $10 million lawsuit against Ashton Kutcher, MTV, and a Vegas hotel. So then the show was quickly retooled to punk celebrities like Freaky Muniz. Pretty sure Taylor Swift was on at one point. Now, as Ashton Kutcher and friends brainstormed new celebs to prank, somebody came up with Puff Daddy. Now, luckily for Ashton, word got to Puffy before any practical jokes were deployed, and on a 2018 episode of The Late Late Show with James Corden, the duo reminisced about the beginning of their friendship. So Puffy said, "I gave Ashton a call one day and said, I heard you're gonna punk me, and I just don't think that's a good idea. If you do that, that will not end well for you, but I think we should work out a deal." Well, hindsight's 2020, folks. Working out a deal with Puff Daddy didn't do so well for Ashton. Sources say that he's so exasperated that once again he's being dragged through the mud because of his past associations. What has been going on? Let's see. Danny Masterson. Now we got Puff Daddy. And other stories we'll get to in a moment. And it's got Ashton convinced that, like, maybe I should get out of Hollywood. In his view, it's the town's fault. It's just a cesspool. So, if you don't know the name Danny Masterson, for those who are unversed, Ashton Kutcher and wife Mila Kunis wrote letters to a judge in support of Danny Masterson after he was convicted of SA, claiming he had been a good person. Now the letters went public, the couple faced massive backlash from fans online, and they did eventually apologize via Instagram. Ashton stepped down from his role as chair of his foundation that fights against those kinds of crimes. He's come under fire following the arrest of Puff Daddy on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and a lot of other bad things. And there's been a lot of old clips of interviews of the two buddies, being bros, and folks questioning why. Now, Ashton mentioned that the duo became fast friends. He was like, oh yeah, we'd hang out, we'd watch football together. When asked about the depravity, and specifically the ickiness that went on at the infamous parties, he's like, I got a lot I can't tell. Nope, can't say that either. Sir, it might be time to start spilling the beans. And yes, while Puff Daddy has denied all allegations against him, he is currently behind bars at the Federal Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, waiting his trial that's not set to begin till May. Also, there might be another criminal case that Ashton might want to run away from because he's thinking about moving. So if we're going back to the year 2001, it was a February night, Ashton thought he'd been jilted after his date didn't answer the door. The original plan for the night was for him to pick her up at 8, but he was invited to watch the Grammys at a friend's house. So apparently he, called the girl around 7:30 to be like, hey, I'm gonna be later than 8. Called again to keep her posted on his whereabouts. He left a voicemail. She called back from her roommate's phone saying the house phone wasn't working. I think it was like 8:24 at that point. She's like, yeah, I'm just getting out of the shower. I'm gonna go dry her hair. So Ashton was like, okay, cool. No big deal if I'm late. And also, sidebar, one of the first detectives at the scene later did see a blow dryer on the toilet seat, so could be legit. So according to Ashton, shortly after 10 p.m., he was like, hey, I'm on my way. There was no answer. He decided to not go straight there. He's like, hey, I would like to touch base first. When he got there, her car was in the driveway, but he thought she might be mad at him because he was late and purposely not answering. So he's like, oh no, I just left. Well, there's a reason she wasn't answering. Her body was no longer, conscious. It was found by her roommate with 47 wounds the next day. But Ashton was like, oh no, I just thought I was stood up. And that is a direct quote from the Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney. He's like, yeah, no, Ashton just showed up. So Ashton also thought he saw red wine on the floor. And turns out, yeah, the evidence showed that that was actually Ashley's bodily you-know-whats. She'd already been away at that point. But the LAPD was like, look, Ashton wasn't a big deal at the time. He, was just a mutual friend. They were just casually dating. It was just, a fling, if you will. He wasn't a long-term relationship. He had no ties to her. He had gone, so her name was Ashley. I think I've already mentioned that. They dated for 2 weeks, couple of little things here and there. They went to a housewarming party. They made plans to get dinner and drinks. So allegedly, Ashley's life was ended by a man named Michael Gargiulio. He was sentenced to end of his life in 2021 for the loss of her life and that of his neighbor, Maria Bruno. Now, sadly, the only reason this case is coming back to life about 20 years later is because of all of the hullabaloo with Ashton and the controversies. Because here's the thing, folks think that Ashton might know more than he did because his fingerprints were everywhere all over the door. And actress Christina Ricci seemingly called him out on Instagram with a warning to awesome guys who have been proven to be awful privately. Comedian Kathy Griffin weighed in, saying, people who needed to stand up for people because they were their bros. And then there was one response that caught me off guard. That of Chrissy Carnell Bixler, former girlfriend of Danny Masterson. one of 3 women who accused him of harm, and she posted a cryptic message to her Instagram story, saying, "Dear Ashton, I know the secrets your role model keeps for you, ones that would end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night you called Danny, February 21st, 2001. I hear everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor." So it's assumed that she was referencing the passing of Ashley Ellerin. Now, this statement was later clarified in an Instagram comment saying, Ashton was in his car for over an hour outside of Ashley's house, speaking with his manager about what to do to protect his career and reputation. So the internet has hit the ground running with theories that Ashton either lied about the passing of said girlfriend or might have been involved with the crime itself. Now, during the 2019 trial, Ashton did give his testimony to the court, saying, "I didn't know she had passed away till the next day. He just called the police before they could figure out his DNA was on the door handle. He was freaking out about that. And because he fully cooperated with the investigation, he was never treated as a suspect." His 40-minute long testimony included mentioning once again that, that stain on the ground. I just peered through the window to see if I could see her. But he's like, oh no, that just wasn't alarming. Like, I went to her house days before. It was like a crazy party. It was a rager. He thought it was just a stain left over from that. Now, as for the man who allegedly took the poor girl's life, he had met her months earlier. He had offered to fix her tire, left a business card promoting his air conditioning repair services. In 2010, the county sheriff's office described him as a bragger, a BS artist. He would meet and befriend and associate with women, form a superficial relationship with them, and ultimately, that would be the end of their life. So he was every woman's nightmare. He told a number of people he was in the movies and was a high-end plumber for celebrities. Now, there was somebody who testified in the trial that said that he was living a block away from the poor girl at the time and would frequently show up at her house unannounced. Apparently, his vehicle had been parked outside at awkward hours of the day, seemingly an attempt to surveil the poor girl. Now, this man was caught in 2008 when his DNA evidence was found following the attempted ending of life of Michelle Murphy, who did testify at the 2019 trial, by the way, saying initially in the days, weeks, and months after it happened, she barely slept. So after all of this, sounds like Ashton and Mila kind of want to flee the country to avoid all of these things following them. And like, hey, if you can get out, get out. Good luck, folks.
Now, Diddy has finally been exposed for his crime ring and how he treated his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. But apparently all of this was just an open secret in Hollywood, which is honestly really messed up. Now, a lot of celebrities have been to Diddy's parties and engaged in who knows what while there. I mean, multiple celebs have spoken out against Diddy, saying that they don't go to Diddy parties and that you just have to tell the man no over and over, which is honestly just so sketchy. And it's just like, why didn't anyone put a stop to this sooner? Now, Kanye West knew all about this allegedly, and in a 2022 interview, he claimed that Diddy was actually working with law enforcement as an informant, and that's why he was able to get away with what he did. Is this credible? No, not really, not at all, but it is something to think about. Not to mention, Diddy is friends with some very powerful people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and the Kardashians. In 2023, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Diddy that was promptly settled the next day. Then on February 26, 2024, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against him as well. On March 25th of this year, Homeland Security investigations served search warrants in the early morning raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Diddy was then arrested last week after being accused of criminal activity going back to at least 2008. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges and wanted to be released on bail, but a judge denied his request. We'll now just have to wait and see what happens, but it appears everyone who was a part of this or helped cover it up will be exposed. Oscar-winning director Roman Polanski was expelled from the Academy in 2018, as the expulsion came more than 40 years after a horrendous legal incident. In 1977, he was convicted of a serious crime, but he fled the United States before being jailed. Now, since he fled the country before sentencing, legally he still has to answer for all charges. But due to this, he can never come back to the United States, because if he ever does, he will be arrested. Now, one of the big problems is that numerous big shots in the movie industry have already written countless petitions asking to pardon Roman, which is honestly disgusting. Now, more than 100 people in the film industry, including Woody Allen, Martin Scorsese, David Lynch, Wes Anderson, Harrison Ford, among many others, signed a petition in 2000 2009, calling for his release. Now, on October 30th, 2015, a Polish judge denied a request by the United States to extradite Roman, so it appears he'll never face the justice his victims deserve. Now, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow began dating in 1980 and were together for 12 years until their split. Now, during that time, the couple adopted 2 children, Dylan and Moses Farrow, and had 1 biological child, Ronan Farrow. Now, Mia and Woody split in 1992, shortly before Woodley publicly revealed that he was dating Suni Previn, Mia's 21-year-old daughter she had adopted with her ex-husband, Andre Previn. Woody began dating his technical stepdaughter. Now, Mia reportedly learned of this relationship early in 1992 when she discovered some photographs of Suni in Woody's apartment. Now, the two started dating when she was 21 years old, and they married 6 years later when Suni was 27 and Woody was 62. Now, when asked about his affair, Woody responded by saying, "The heart wants what it wants, there's no logic to those things. You meet someone and you fall in love, and that's that." Ronan Farrow said it best when describing his family dynamic: "He's my father married to my sister, that makes me his son and his brother-in-law." Now, this is all just so crazy because it seems like no one really cares about this, which is just insane. The situation is just so icky, not to mention Woody has been accused of committing some other crimes too, but people still continue to be in his movies and support him. Alfred Hitchcock was an interesting man to say the least, but what people didn't really know was that there was a dark side to him. Now, his first of many recorded instances of actor mistreatment occurred on the set of his film The 39 Steps. He would announce lead actress Madeleine Carroll's presence on set by yelling, "Bring on the Birmingham tart," and would leave her handcuffed to her co-star for hours on end, claiming to have lost the key. Now, he took pleasure in agitating his actresses with crude sexual jokes, and even going as far as making up a story about sleeping with Ingrid Bergman and having actress Janet Leigh filmed in the shower for a 6-day shooting period for Psycho. But by far the worst was his treatment of lead Tippi Hedren while shooting The Birds. Now, Hitchcock became infatuated with her, and after she refused some of his advances, he had live birds attached to her instead of mechanical ones for the shooting of a scene, which ultimately required her to be hospitalized. Later, Hitchcock's demands led to a horrible fight, according to Tippi. She then told him Marnie would be their last film together, and later recalled how Hitchcock told her he would destroy her career. He said, "I'll ruin your career," and he did ruin my career. He kept me under contract and paid me to do nothing for close to 2 years. Now, Tippi said this essentially ruined her career as a leading lady, and it's such a shame. Now, everyone knows about Britney Spears' meltdowns in 2006 and 2007. Now, amidst her split from Kevin Federline, she shaved her head and was sworn by paparazzi at a gas station, and in retaliation, she smashed a photographer's car with an infamous green umbrella. Now, later, at the beginning of 2008, she was put on a 5150 hold in the hospital. A week after this, she was sent back to the hospital on a 5150 hold, and her father Jamie was granted temporary conservatorship over the star. Now, in July that year, he requested for it to be extended, which it was. 2 years before the temporary court-ordered conservatorship was supposed to see its end, a judge then ruled that Jamie would retain control over his daughter for an indefinite period. Speaking of this period of time in her memoir, Britney said, "Even though I begged the court to appoint literally anyone else, and I mean anyone off the street would have been better, my father was given the job. And the court told me I was demented, and I wasn't even allowed to pick my own lawyer." Soon after the conservatorship was in place, she said her father said, "I just want to let you know, I call the shots. You sit right there in the chair and I'll tell you what goes on," she recalled. "I looked at him with a growing sense of horror. I'm Britney Spears now," he said. Britney also spoke out about that 13-year conservatorship as she hit out on her dad Jamie in the explosive memoir, as she opened up about the unrelenting control her family had over her, which, looking back, makes her feel sick. Now, people in Hollywood knew about this but didn't do anything. Finally, in 2019, fans started to realize that something was wrong, and they created the Free Britney movement. With fans backing Britney up, she felt like she finally had a voice and requested the conservatorship to end. Now, she and her father appeared in court multiple times over the year, and on November 12, 2021, the conservatorship was officially over. Now, so many people knew what was going on and directly profited off the whole situation though, which is just gross. And finally, a lot of people know that Judy Garland was treated poorly in the industry, but not that many people know the extent of it. She signed with MGM when she was just a teen, and she appeared on screen in the 1936's Pigskin Parade, a musical comedy about college football coaches. At that point, MGM execs were already bugging her about her weight. They told her she looked like a fat little pig with pigtails and placed her on a forced diet, something that would continue on in her career. The studio restricted her calories so heavily that she unfortunately fell into cycles of starving and binging. In 1938, an MGM exec told her that she was so fat she looked like a monster, and when she was 18, Louis Mayer himself allowed her to consume only black coffee and chicken soup, along with 80 cigarettes and diet pills every 4 hours to reduce her appetite. Now, this kept the weight off, but anytime she stopped dieting, her weight would skyrocket. Studio managers would send memos on her daily eating, including notes like Garland gained 10 pounds, costumes refitted, and Judy sneaked out between takes 7 and 8 this afternoon and had a malted milk. Now, poor girl, as she was treated absolutely horrible by MGM.
Oprah made a career-ending mistake when herself and Dwayne Johnson broke the one rule of being a billionaire: don't ask poor people for their money. A few weeks ago, Oprah and The Rock announced that they would be starting a relief fund for the victims of the Maui wildfires. The People's Fund of Maui was given a solid $10 million to get off the ground, $10 million donated by Oprah and Dwayne combined. So why is it just Oprah that's getting so much hate? Well, it's because she has a net worth of roughly $2.8 billion. That is billion with a B. The world is collectively furious at Oprah for having the audacity to ask working class citizens for charity when most people can barely afford to put food on their tables. The Rock and Oprah donated $5 million each to give the fund a head start. Well, guess what? $5 million to Oprah is like $500 to us. Just chump change. Oprah has responded to the backlash online and is very confused as to where all this hate is coming from. Oprah has been known for a long time as being a pretty charitable woman. Who could forget Oprah's famous "you get a car, everyone gets a car" moment? The moment was historical on her series, and it was parodied time and time again, and it still does to this day. However, what a lot of people don't know is that that wasn't really the case. It wasn't as simple as "here are your keys, have fun." Whenever someone gives out anything, especially on television, there's always a catch. For Oprah's audience, the catch was that if they actually wanted to drive away in their brand new car, they would have to pay over $7,000 first in taxes. While Oprah's studio would of course cover like the sales tax and the registration for each car, the audience members were given a choice to either pay the $7,000 and take the car or simply take the cash instead. The infamous moment on the show featured 11 real teachers who were, according to Oprah, in desperate need of a new car. They, along with the audience, received keys in a box on camera that Oprah claimed to be for their new cars. Everything has a catch though, even now. For someone who's known for being charitable and generous, the word free clearly means something else to Oprah. Now, the world is understandably frustrated. Imagine someone with a physical gold bar around their neck asking you for spare change on the street. Hey, what's that thing around your neck? It's shiny, it makes me feel bad about myself. Use that. Oprah has always been a little bit twisted. Let's not forget just what her show really is. Oprah used to bring the most vulnerable people that she could find onto the show to share their stories. While some were just actors, gurus, or people sharing positive tragedies, there were also just so many people who would just cry on her show. And let's not forget the other careers that this woman is responsible for creating, especially programs with some of her friends. Oprah is not just responsible for many hopes and dreams being squashed live on air, she's actually also the creator of a couple of talk show celebrities, namely health expert Dr. Oz, and of course the so-called life coach, Dr. Phil. Before Dr. Phil had his own show, Oprah actually asked him and his courtroom consulting firm to help with a trial. Before meeting Oprah, Phil apparently had zero interest in being a television personality, but Oprah made him see the light, so to speak. According to Phil, she helped him understand the power of these shows and what they were truly made for. For Phil, he brings people onto his show who are struggling with personal issues that just so happen to be good for TV. Remember the Catch Me Outside girl? Dr. Phil made her rich rich and famous. Good job, buddy. But it's not just Phil that's had some controversial moments. Her other protege, Dr. Oz, has had some pretty rough moments as well. His show is centered around medicine and health, which is never controversial, right? Bringing so-called experts on every week. My mother absolutely loved this guy, and she will not stop hammering in his tactics. Oprah was partnered with both of these people, meaning that whatever their shows made, she got a little bit of something for her trouble. Now, she doesn't like to advertise how much she actually made from these programs, but considering how many episodes there have been and how long the programs have run for, it's probably a lot. Like, think about all of the money that this woman has made off of the tragedies of others. This situation with Maui is just another one of the many so-called foundations and charities that she's behind. Now, while some have been extremely beneficial to the world, especially the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, others are just clear cash grabs and bragging right makers like this one. If Oprah really wanted to make a difference and truly help the people of Maui, she would have donated $10 million by herself and gotten Dwayne to match it or something. But let's not forget about the other person involved in the situation, Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. He's one of the busiest and most bankable men in Hollywood. This man has appeared in everything, and he even turned himself into a superhero when he played Black Adam. His power and influence knows no bounds. Now, of these two, we understand why Dwayne would feel that this is an important cause, because he has family on the island and spent a ton of time in Maui growing up. Now, Oprah is just Oprah. She actually purchased a property in Maui not long before the fires broke out. Many believe that the only reason that she even cares about the situation is because she owns land there. If she was still living in the States, she would have continued to live her life without a care in the world. The proof that they believe Maui is home is comparing their efforts to that of Dolly Parton, who organized a foundation to assist people in Tennessee after a wildfire destroyed thousands of homes. I've actually stayed in Gatlinburg, where she's from, many times. It is a beautiful town, but from what I understand, the resort that I used to stay at with my family has practically been burned down to the ground. Dolly did an incredible job and continues to do humanitarian work across the US and around the world to this day. However, when Oprah asked people to do it, it just felt weird. Like someone who was not from this place was taking a vested interest in the situation. Before this Maui situation though, Oprah was a well-respected TV host. But as it turns out, there might have been some dark truths behind the production of her show that should have been red flag after red flag. Case in point, the confidentiality agreements. Now, confidentiality agreements are not uncommon in the world of Hollywood. Heck, Marvel will literally have someone take you out if you even think about sharing their secrets. In Kitty Kelly's tell-all book about Oprah, the author mentions the confidentiality agreements that co-workers and guest stars were made to sign. This included everyone from Tom Cruise to the person who made his muffins. Over 500 staff members were forced to sign this document, but one former employee, Elizabeth Cody, tried to write a book about her time working for Oprah, but she was apparently stopped by the courts, still being tied to this agreement that she had signed even though she didn't really work for the show anymore. The NDAs were not meant to be a way to keep just the show secrets safe, but any and all of Oprah's secrets as well. According to Elizabeth, the document was signed by almost everyone in Oprah's life. She may have this brand of sweetness and kindness, but apparently that's just not how she is. Elizabeth felt that she was in Oprah's pocket, so to speak, after she signed the paperwork. In 2010, a lawsuit was filed against Oprah and her company. Unicus Performance Training claimed that they were fired for violating the terms of her agreement, specifically involving advertisement with her name or the website of the show. But it's not only the former staff that are made to keep silent. Oprah's own family has spoken out about her past behavior since the news of this scandal broke a few weeks ago. On air, Oprah is portrayed as this wholesome, sweet lady, but according to her stepmother, there is an unknown side to Oprah hidden from fans for years. According to Barbara, Oprah is one of the most controlling people you will ever meet. She claims that Oprah would not allow them to stay at her house when they tried to visit, forcing her own parents to stay in hotels with money out of their pockets. Barbara also said that Oprah was quick to anger, especially when it came to her staff, with several people being fired left and right over the years for the littlest things. But that's not all. Despite being a billionaire, Barbara actually lets Oprah stay at her home when she visits, which is something that Oprah apparently just hates. The first time she ever stayed over, Oprah allegedly complained that her bed sheets were not 1,000 threads and that her bath towels weren't big enough. That last one's a little little excusable, okay? If you ever used a giant bath towel, I'm never going back. This woman has billions of dollars to do literally anything she wants, and what she wants is to make her family feel like a burden. It turns out that her wild child behavior though started a long time ago, well before she was a TV host, way back when she was just a little one. Several books have been published about Oprah over the years, some from her and some that are not. In her own book that she wrote, Oprah revealed that growing up she was far from an easy kid to handle. When she was young, she was sent to live with her father Vernon after she was caught stealing from her mother's purse. Despite being an on-screen persona known for charity and kindness, she was actually a menace throughout most of her life, according to family members at least. As I've mentioned previously, Oprah's stepmother is not allowed to stay at her house, and she is known to be pretty controlling. She admitted to doing some pretty troubling things at a very young age, including staging an amnesia bout where she broke several things in her mother's house and then called the police. According to Oprah's mother, she was uncontrollable, ungrateful, and after robbing her, maybe a little bit crazy. As the situation continues, more and more is surely going to come out of the situation with Oprah. While the current news is that the fund is active, she is inactive and refuses to discuss the backlash with anyone. She recently made a television appearance giving one of her most honest interviews of all time, discussing things like her use of Ozempic, obesity in general, and the shame that surrounds weight loss supplements. That's nice, but where's the money talk? People loved Oprah up until a few weeks ago, and now she won't even comment on the hate that she's receiving.
Starting off, we have Ariana Grande. Singer, songwriter, and actress Ariana Grande married Dalton Gomez in May 2021, but just after 2 years of marriage, Ariana and Dalton called it quits. In July 2023, a source told People that the pair separated earlier in the year and have been quietly and lovingly working on their friendship since. Now, just days before their split was announced, Ariana was seen without her engagement ring and her wedding band. Ariana officially filed for divorce from Dalton in September 2023, with him filing a response immediately following. But it has been revealed that the reason for the divorce was that Ariana cheated on Dalton with her Wicked co-star, Ethan Slater. But here's the thing, Ethan was also married and had a child. His now ex-wife Lily, who's since been openly critical of Ari, apparently visited Ethan on the Wicked set in April with their infant son. The following month, Ethan gushed about her in a Mother's Day Instagram post, but by July 26, he had officially filed for divorce. Now, their timeline is a little more messy, but there was definitely some infidelity involved here. Now, this has had the internet up in arms about Ariana now dating SpongeBob, as Ethan played him in the live-action musical. Up next is Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson has cheated on Khloe Kardashian many times, so here's a brief synopsis of their relationship. In 2016, Khloe and Tristan started dating, and in spring of 2018, Khloe and Tristan were getting ready to welcome their first child together when photos and videos were released of him kissing other women. A couple days after the reports came out, Khloe welcomed their daughter True, but then TMZ then posted a video from earlier in October 2017 that appeared to show Tristan kissing 2 other women at a hookah lounge. More cheating allegations surfaced from there, including in January 2019 when it was revealed that Tristan had kissed Kylie Jenner's close friend, Jordan Woods. It was then confirmed that Tristan and Khloe were dating again in August 2020, and they called it quits again in June 2021. Now, in December 2021, news broke that Tristan was involved in a paternity suit with personal trainer Marlee Nichols, and in January 2022, he revealed he was the father. Now, in July that year, multiple sources confirmed that Khloe and Tristan were expecting another child with the help of a surrogate. Now, the surrogate was already pregnant with the child when the news broke of Tristan's paternity scandal. Now, they kept the pregnancy a secret as long as they could to protect Khloe, and after the child was born, it seems like they are co-parenting but not together. Khloe gave him so many chances and he took advantage of that, and I truly hope that she doesn't give him another one, because at this point, it's just sad. On to Adam Levine. In 2012, Adam Levine began dating Behati Prinsloo, and they married in 2014, and in September 2022, it was reported that they were expecting their 3rd child together. But shortly after, Instagram model Sumner Stroh posted a TikTok video claiming that she had an affair with Adam that lasted for about a year. Screenshots and and video recordings were used as proof, and in one screenshot, Adam was seen asking for permission to use her first name for his unborn child, which is just insane. Now, Adam denied cheating, but from the screenshots of the messages going around, it's pretty clear that he was. The day after the allegations, Adam took to Instagram to say that he messed up, he didn't have an affair, but that he crossed a line. Since then, 2 additional women, Allison Rosef and Markea, later came forward with screenshots of flirty messages the singer had sent them, and a third woman, his former yoga teacher, accused him of texting her that he wanted to spend the day with her naked. Now, a 4th woman came out as well, and she told the Daily Mail that he would like and comment on her fitness stories, usually about her having the best butt in town. Now, this story was everywhere, and the whole internet turned against Adam. Then there's Ned Fulmer. One of the members of the internet group The Try Guys was exposed for cheating on his wife in late 2022. Ned Fulmer was the I love my wife guy, but in September 2022 he was exposed as a cheater. TikTokers posted photo evidence of what appeared to be Ned kissing one of his producers, Alex Herring. A fan also posted an Instagram photo with her and Ned, captioning it that she saw Ned and Alex together at a Harry Styles concert at the beginning of September. Rumors and proof were gathered, and later near the end of September, Ned confirmed that he had cheated on his wife, publicly apologized, and then got kicked out of the Try Guys. Now, the affair had been going on for a while, as after all of this was exposed, another TikToker came forward saying that she spotted Ned kissing another woman and that she had some videos and photos of them. She said she messaged Ned's wife Ariel to make her aware, but Ariel never saw the messages. Let's talk about Gerard Piqué. In June 2022, it was reported that Shakira had recently dumped her partner of more than a decade, Gerard Piqué, after she caught him with another woman. The singer and the soccer star, who share 2 sons, soon confirmed their split, though they kept mum on the infidelity allegations. Now, that changed in January 2023 though, when Shakira released a diss track that included lyrics taking shot at Gerard and his new girlfriend, who's 12 years younger than him. "You're acting so weird, I don't even recognize you. I'm worth 2 22-year-olds, Shakira sings. Now, she then went on to insult his intelligence, but there is more. Reports also surfaced claiming Shakira was clued into the cheating because she returned home after a trip to discover that someone had eaten some of the jam she kept in the fridge in the home she shared with Gerard. He and their sons all hated jam, so it had to be someone else who ate it, and that was the girl he cheated on her with. Now, that's a pretty good way to find out that someone is cheating on you. All I gotta say is iconic. Moving on to Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes were co-hosts of Good Morning America 3, What You Need to Know, and they had worked together since TJ joined the show in the year 2020. Now, at the end of 2022, the Daily Mail published photos of the co-workers taken across several outings, from getting drinks at a New York City bar to loading up a car at a cottage upstate. It was confirmed that they were cheating on their significant others. Now, neither of the broadcasters immediately addressed the photos or revealed whether they had split from their respective spouses. Now, TJ had been married to his wife for 12 years, and Amy was married to her husband for 12 years as well. Now, in January 2023, the couple decided to walk away from their positions as co-anchors after being caught in their affair scandal. Interestingly enough though, in December 2023, it was reported that their former spouses were dating each other. Now, that is just a strange twist to this story. Now we have Tom Sandoval. Us confirmed in March 2023 that Tom and Ariana Madix split after nearly 10 years together after he cheated with their Vanderpump Rules co-star Raquel Leviss. Apparently, Ariana learned about the affair when Tom and his band performed one of his new music singles live. Tom and Raquel visited his hometown of St. Louis in December 2022, but not to the knowledge of Ariana. Tom reportedly wanted to bring Raquel around his friends and family, though some declined to spend time with them and thought that the situation was inappropriate. He then posted an apology to his Instagram page saying, "I want to first and foremost apologize to everyone I've hurt through this process. Most of all, I want to apologize to Ariana. I made mistakes, I was selfish, and made reckless decisions that hurt somebody I love. No one deserves to feel that pain so traumatically and publicly. I can only imagine how devastating this has been for Ariana and everyone around us. I feel really horrible about that. My biggest regret is I dishonored Ariana. I never meant to disappoint so many people, including our loving families and friends." Afterwards, there was the explosive Vanderpump Rules reunion, and it was just a big, huge huge yelling match. Now we have David Letterman. Late night show host David Letterman admitted to having an affair during a taping of Late Night. David had only been married to his wife for 6 months and together for over 20 years when he admitted to being intimate with women who worked with him on air, specifically his longtime assistant Stephanie Burkett. The affair came to light when Stephanie's boyfriend Joe Halderman, a producer at CBS, allegedly tried to extort David for $2 million in exchange for his silence. David got ahead of him though, setting up a sting with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which resulted in Joe's arrest. CBS issued a statement regarding the investigation and David's decision to speak out on the show, saying Mr. Letterman addressed the issue during the show's broadcast last night, and we believe his comments speak for themselves. Now to this day, David is still married to his wife. Next up is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner first met on the set of the 2000 movie Pearl Harbor, but were in separate relationships at the time. Ben was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, and they were supposed to be married in 2003, but in 2004 they called off their engagement. Now Jennifer Garner was married to Scott Foley for 4 years, who she divorced in 2003. The pair then started a relationship and got married in 2005. They had 3 children and a perfect family until their nanny, Christine Azoyan, claimed that she and Ben had an affair. In 2015, sources told Page 6, amid reports of Ben's gambling and alleged cheating with other women, that the pair had drifted apart and had been in professional therapy for years. Now their split was announced a day after their 10th wedding anniversary, and they finalized their divorce in 2018, but remain on good terms. Now in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer had confirmed Ben's affair with the nanny. And lastly we have Kristen Stewart. In 2012, photos of Kristen Stewart kissing Rupert Sanders, the director of her movie Snow White and the Huntsman, were released and caused a frenzy. Now at the time, she was famously in a relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, while Rupert was married to his wife since 2002, model Liberty Ross. After the photos were released, both Kristen and Rupert released their own statements. Kristen said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." Now they broke up and got back together multiple times, but they broke up for good in May 2013. This broke the hearts of Twilight fans everywhere, and I can't imagine how Rob felt having to work with her still after all of this happened.
Starting off our list today in the number 10 spot, we have Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. On February 19, 2019, news would break and claim that Tristan Thompson had cheated on Khloe Kardashian with her sister Kylie Jenner's best friend Jordyn Woods. If the drama couldn't get any more messier, Jordyn would then, on March 1st, 2019, address all the allegations when she sat down with Jada Pinkett Smith for a tell-all interview on the Red Table Talk show. And in the interview, she would say, "On the way out, he did kiss me. No passion, no nothing on the way out. He just kissed me. It was a kiss on the lip, but no tongue kisses. No making out, nothing." While the couple would later get back together, sadly, it wouldn't be the first time that the basketball star has been caught cheating on the reality TV star, as back in March of 2018, the basketball player was also videotaped kissing another woman just days before his and Khloe's daughter was born. And let's not forget, when Khloe finally gave him a third chance, he would shock the world again after we found out that he cheated on Khloe for a third time in December 2021, after US Weekly confirmed that Marley Nichols welcomed a baby and the father was indeed Tristan Thompson. But I guess that's what happens when you date a man from Canada, as we aren't always as nice as you would think we are, because the world is lying to you. Number 9. Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber first started dating in 2010, and from the start of their relationship, they were always off and on for around 8 years, with their relationship definitely being an interesting roller coaster ride, as one month they would be spotted packing on the PDA or walking hand in hand. The next moment, they would both be shading each other all over social media or in interviews. With many fans trying to figure out why the couple just wasn't getting along, we would all be left feeling pretty shocked after Selena Gomez's best friend Taylor Swift seemingly revealed that Justin Bieber once even cheated on Selena after she liked a super shady post about it on Tumblr. This would all happen after Taylor entered into a pretty public feud with Justin and his manager Scooter Braun. Taylor then went on to like a button on the post that read, "We haven't gotten to communicate our differences. You cheated on her best friend, then publicly sided with the man who made a revenge tape against her. Was she supposed to invite you over for tea? F out of here." Hey my little bobas, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. And trust me, you definitely don't want to miss the tea in the next video. Number 8. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson quickly became couple goals after they started dating in 2009. However, when rumors started to hit the web and claim that the Twilight actress had cheated on her then boyfriend with married Snow White and the Huntsman director Rupert Saunders, the internet would lose its mind and it would force Kristen to come out and issue a public apology for the scandal. In her apology, Kristen would then say, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." In the beginning, the couple tried to work things out through the scandal and they stayed together, but after a year they realized they just weren't meant to be together and they decided to move on and call it quits, crushing all of our Twilight fantasies in the process. Number 7. Zayn Malik and Perry Edwards. At one point in life, we were all obsessed with Zayn Malik's and Perry Edwards' relationship, and then we would all be left feeling heartbroken in March of 2015 after rumors started to circulate online claiming that Zayn had cheated on the blonde beauty after he was pictured cozying up to a mystery girl. Zayn first tried to deny all the allegations by heading to his Twitter page to say, "I'm 22 years old, I love a girl named Perry Edward, and there's lots of jealous F's in this world. I'm sorry for what it looks like." However, in August of 2015, just months after Zayn decided to leave his boy band group One Direction, fans would be devastated after he revealed that he officially called off his engagement to Perry. The Little Mix singer then later alleged that Zayn did in fact cheat on her after she released her song, "Shout Out to My Ex," and shortly after, Zayn would then jump into a relationship with Gigi Hadid, so maybe she was the mystery girl after all. Number 6. Louis Tomlinson and Eleanor Calder. Louis Tomlinson and Eleanor Calder were together for 4 years before they decided to break up in March of 2015, with reports at the time claiming that their breakup happened because the musician just had a hectic work schedule. People magazine would even report an inside source told them they tried really hard to make it work, but it was just impossible. He was always away for 9 months a year and they just grew apart. But apparently, this just wasn't the case. Just after the article was published, Louis would then be spotted kissing another girl in Thailand, and after the picture started to go viral, rumors quickly started to spread online, and in them, people would claim that Louis had cheated on the social media star. Louis would then later confirm that the rumors were true after he released various songs about the incident in his debut solo album, Walls, where he sang about hurting someone he loves, and it didn't take long for fans to prove that that person was in fact Eleanor. Number 5. Niall Horan and Hailee Steinfeld. When rumors first started swirling online claiming that Niall Horan and Hailee Steinfeld were dating back in February of 2018, just after they were spotted getting pretty cozy at a Backstreet Boys concert, when they were finally photographed sharing a kiss in August of 2018, fans of the couple would finally get the confirmation they were waiting for, and the couple was in fact dating. But unfortunately, the two would have to call it quits in December of that year, and after they went their separate ways, it definitely didn't seem like they ended on the best of terms, as later Hailee would even come out seemingly to shade the pop star multiple times on her Instagram stories when she released her song Wrong Direction in January of 2020. She even went on to allege that her relationship with Niall ended because he cheated on her, when she sang in her song, "Looking back, I probably should have known, but I just wanted to believe that you were out sleeping alone. Love me with your worst intentions, didn't even stop to question. Every time you burn me down, don't know how, for a moment, it felt like heaven. Love me with your worst intentions, painted us a happy ending." Hailee was definitely in her feels, but hey, at least she was able to write a fire song about it. Number 4. Tana Mongeau and Brad Souza. Tana Mongeau and Brad Souza first made things official back in December of 2018, and after they started to post a ton of PDA snaps together. But in April of 2019, Tana revealed that they had split after Tana caught Brad sending another girl some pretty flirty DMs. Tana would then reveal everything that happened in the YouTube video when she said, "A lot of crazy things happened at Coachella, and during it all, I wound up finding out a lot of really effed up stuff. I woke up the next day expecting to have like a private breakup, and I got online to see a bunch of screenshots of girls saying and showing a lot of stuff. Some of it fake, some of it not, going really viral about Brad." In his own words, Brad would also confirm that all the allegations in Tana's videos were true when he said, "What happened in her videos is true. There was a little bit of over-exaggeration to some of it, but what she said was going on is what I've done. I mean, I don't blame her for speaking her mind and her truth and her heat." Brad then went on to claim that he never physically cheated on Tana, but he did admit he was sending inappropriate messages to other girls when he said he was under the influence, and regardless of the situation, when he realized what he did was wrong, he wished he could take it all back because no one ever gave him what Tana was really giving him. Number 3. Noah Cyrus and Lil Xan. Noah Cyrus and Lil Xan made their first red carpet debut as a couple in 2018 at the MTV Video Music Awards in August of 2018, and they would shock their fans after they split just 1 month later. After their breakup didn't exactly end well, with both stars accusing each other of cheating on their social media accounts, Lil Xan first took to his Instagram account to say, "I feel like I'm probably being cheated on. I broke up with her because she was all over another dude." Noah later then came out to shut down all the rumors when she decided to write her own post on what truly happened after she took to her Instagram to say, "The truth is, I haven't seen him in almost a week. Every time we try to hang out, something always got in the way. I then saw a picture of a girl on a court in his story at 2 a.m. When I FaceTimed him later on, I noticed a hickey. He told me it was just a bruise. I decided to give him the benefit of a doubt and ignored it." Cheaters like to accuse their partners of cheating to make themselves feel less guilty, which is the truth. This isn't the first time this has happened to me, and I'm being forced to deal with some crazy allegations when I'm not even sure where this all came from. The singer then went on to call the rapper by his real name, Diego, when she said, "I've been there for you during your dark times, Diego. When you felt alone, like no one was there for you, I was. If this is your way of breaking up with me and breaking my heart along with it, then you've succeeded." Number 2. Charli D'Amelio and Chase Hudson. When Chase Hudson was accused of cheating on Charli in March of 2020, just 2 months after they were speculated to be dating, Josh Richards' diss track called Still Softish would spark the cheating rumors and accuse Chase of his infidelity. With the two publicly splitting in April of 2020, the relationship rumors would start to make headlines shortly after. Fast forward to July 2020, Charli would then accuse Chase of cheating on her, and in August 2020 on Twitter, when she posted a now deleted tweet saying, "I hope she was worth it." In response, Chase would then take to his own social media in a since deleted post to say, "All of this drama is going on because I kissed Nessa when we were both single." Charli then quoted his tweet with his post with a kiss and added, "Then you shouldn't have come over to my house after without telling me." The entire internet then started to freak out after Chase then posted a since deleted photo from his notes app where he seemingly called out his friends and other influencers for their alleged infidelities. Charli then went on to call the singer out again after she took to her Instagram to say, "Stop deflecting your actions onto others because you can't take responsibility, Chase." On July 8th of 2020, Charli then took to her Instagram live to tell her fans that she and Chase had a very long talk and they just realized that they weren't right for each other. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Dove Cameron and Ryan McCartan. Once upon a time, Dove Cameron and Ryan were the ultimate Disney power couple. And if you're a Disney fan, then you know that the stars' relationship wasn't exactly pretty when their relationship came to an end. When Ryan accused Dove of cheating on him during a Q&A session with his fans, after a fan asked him what his proudest moment was, he would say, "Within 2 weeks, my fiance cheated on me and left me, and I almost passed away from food poisoning. I truly didn't think I would be able to make it through that part of my life. I'm proudest of the light that came from the darkness and my ability to survive and turn the anger and sadness I had into positive life changes and a new way forward." Ryan would then later talk about his relationship with Dove, and he would head to his Instagram account to say, "I think Dove and I fundamentally agree about our relationship with one another. We were young and immature, our relationship was dysfunctional, we were a bad match. She has made claims about me and about our past that I don't think are fair or even true, but she is entitled to her opinion opinion. While the actor also claimed that he was also entitled to his own opinion, he then went on to explain that despite their rocky past, the two had no hard feelings between each other now. But talk about a messy breakup, and Disney definitely wasn't happy about this scandal, that's for sure.
Number 10. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was in the news for a lot of reasons in the early 2010s, whether it was her mental breakdown or her party escapades. The paparazzi was right there, ready to capture every little moment on camera. One night, Lindsay was in a van when it collided with a member of the paparazzi, smashing into the side door. The driver of the car was rushed to the hospital and an investigation took place, but it was ultimately revealed that the only person who was actually at fault was the driver of Lindsay's van. She's famous. Did you actually think that she drove her own vehicles? Despite the paparazzi clearly attempting to photograph Lohan at the time of the crash, like they're the reason it happened, the incident was chalked up to, look where you're going next time. I don't know, the driver of the van, Raymond Ortega, claims that Lindsay didn't even check to make sure that he was okay when he crashed into that car. Hey man, she was just a bit too focused on the man she just hit. Number 9. Kanye West. Kanye may claim to love the paparazzi, but his track record has shown anything but that. In 2013, well before Mr. Yeet canceled himself on Twitter, he was involved in an investigation set in place by the LAPD after it was reported by a paparazzo that Kanye had struck him and a fellow troll, paparazzi, one night at LAX. When Kanye got off a plane, he was being photographed by numerous photographers. So many people were surrounding him. One man named Daniel Ramos was particularly close to Kanye, and he did not appreciate Dan getting in his personal space. A video shows Kanye rushing at Ramos and attempting to grab his camera. Ultimately, the LAPD decided not to press any charges, but the case was referred to a city attorney who filed misdemeanor charges against the rapper. This wasn't the first time that this type of thing had happened to Mr. Yee. In 2008, he was involved in a similar confrontation with another paparazzo. The rapper smashed his camera and was subsequently arrested on charges of felony, and on top of a few smaller charges that forced him to serve 50 hours of community service. Number 8. Britney Spears. As many know, Britney began a downward spiral health-wise in 2007. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, she not only shaved her head, but she went on a rage-fueled rampage across the city, taking down anyone in her path, like Godzilla or something. After being swarmed by photographers at a gas station in LA, she went on a rampage, wielding an umbrella and swinging it at them over and over, and even hitting one of their cars, smashing the window. She also hurled expletives at anyone and everyone who had a camera, eventually launching her umbrella towards the crowd. This was the main incident that landed her in a psychiatric hold, but the paparazzi captured every single moment of it on camera, so the only thing the world saw of her for a bit was this mess. Let's hope she's doing better now. Number 7. Hugh Grant. When people see Hugh Grant, they think rom-com sweetheart, the bad guy from Dungeons and Dragons, or soon it's gonna be Oompa Loompa. It's just a creepy image, just don't watch that trailer. But anybody with the news in 2008 remembers him as a bean waster. A paparazzo named Ian Whitaker was following Hugh around his neighborhood, trying to snap as many quality pics as possible. Grant noticed him and walked over to ask him to leave. I'm just kidding, he walked over and started kicking the heck out of him. 3 times to be more specific, before he literally kneed him in the groin. He then picked up and opened a family-sized can of baked beans and just chucked it at Ian like he was launching a nade into the battlefield. He then stood over the photographer like a freaking Bond villain and he asked him, "Do you have any children?" And when he said yes, Grant said something that I'm not allowed to say on the internet. It was just that messed up. He's scary. Police were eventually called to his home where he was arrested and charged with, well, he physically kneed a guy. So it was in the most sensitive area ever. If anything, they should have taken him to jail forever. That hurts so much. Number 6, Will Smith. That's right, Will Smith is on this list for slapping someone, but it's not Chris Rock. I just figured we all know about that one. Hey, it's why he was canceled. What are we talking about today? Oh yeah, an incident on the red carpet that left one paparazzo with a big red mark on his face. Will was walking the red carpet at his Men in Black 3 premiere, giving people interviews when a Ukrainian comedian named Vitaly Sejik approached him. A man who is unfortunately famous for being an absolutely disgusting person towards celebrities. He pretended to be a reporter and he began interviewing Will Smith. He suddenly pulled himself towards Smith and he tried to kiss him on the cheek in his mouth, and Will obviously shoved him back and gave him a little, "Hey bud, what the Just a little backhand to the face, nothing major, and then he was gone. A team of security following Mr. Smith picked this guy up and carried him away like the little toddler that he was. Who knew Will was practicing for his Oscar slap all the way back then? Number 5, Justin Bieber. Justin is no stranger to the paparazzi. They basically filmed every terrible moment of his adolescence so that he can just go online, Google himself, and cry whenever he wants. Back in 2013, the Biebs was on tour in London when the paparazzi caught wind of his location. They followed him around the city everywhere he went. One day, Justin was trying to get into his SUV when a paparazzo yelled something at him. Probably something gross and rude. Honestly, the video I watched was a little muffled, so who knows? You know how the paparazzi are though. Bieber was about to close the door shut, but he opened it back up and he took a swing and said, "Hey, what'd you say, man? What'd you say? I'll beat the F out of you." And he looked like a child doing it. It's not a great move, but it was understandable as the camera person clearly made contact with Justin before spouting whatever nonsense they were spouting. The photographer tried to press charges, but the cops were just kind of like, excuse me, mate, that's Justin Bieber. What's the point? Unfortunately for the Biebs, memes were becoming very popular in the early 2010s. Thousands of Photoshop pictures were spread across the internet, and Justin cemented himself as a paparazzi go-to, because they were like, he's easy to gaslight, let's do it. Number 4, Sean Penn. This is an older entry, but it's still worth talking about because it's kind of neat. Shortly before his marriage to Madonna in 1985, Sean Penn noticed a helicopter hovering around his Malibu beach home. Once he realized that it was filled with paparazzi trying to snap pictures of him, Sean took matters into his own hands. He walked down to the beach and carved a message out in 20-foot letters that said, "Forget you." Remember that song? Nah, I'm just kidding. It said, "Fuck you." If that wasn't enough of a message for them, he decided to double down by grabbing his personal safety bang bang and fired it into the air. According to guests at their home at the time, Sean came back and said, "I would be very excited to see one of those choppers crash and burn." This guy sounds like a James Bond bad guy. Seriously, he could team up with the other dude. "I would very much enjoy watching you burn, Mr. Bond." This wasn't the first or last time that Sean would get a little bit extreme with the paparazzi. At least those guys were in a helicopter. In 2008, Sean reportedly kicked and punched a paparazzo who was trying to snap pictures outside of a hotel that he was staying at in Beverly Hills. Apparently, the guy went through his trash to get the information on where he was, so got what he deserved. People blasted Sean for being physical, but come on, if someone popped up at your house after finding your information in a trash can, wouldn't you want to kick them too? Number 3, Tobey Maguire. Ever since he first squeezed his face into our lives in the original live-action Spider-Man franchise, Tobey has been seen as a quiet man who gives off a calm uncle vibe. As such, he's been casted in many roles following Spider-Man that leaned into that tendency. You know, Nick Carraway in the film Great Gatsby, and well, that's about the best example I've got. However, as the years went on and paparazzi began swarming Tobey at every opportunity, he's been pegged as an angry man who just hates having his picture being taken. In one video that has since gone viral, Tobey is swarmed by the paparazzi while trying to drive out of a parking lot in LA. He yells at the paparazzi to move after he had politely asked them to, accidentally slamming a door into a cameraman in frustration. Since then, anyone with a camera is seen as a threat to Tobey, so much so that he will either give you the most horrifying glare of your life if he sees you taking a picture of him, or he'll just straight up take your camera away. Like, how mean can you be just to snap someone's phone out of their hand? If you did it with a web though, that would be a different story. Number 2, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is a wonderful actor, but apparently she does not make a good caution cone. In 2013, she was trying to enter the Carlyle Hotel in Manhattan after returning home from a Calvin Klein show at New York Fashion Week. You know, just your average Tuesday. Suddenly, a notorious paparazzo crashed into Nicole going full speed on his bicycle. In the video, it looks like he tries to make a half-hearted attempt to stop himself, but like, get off the sidewalk, dude! It's not called the side bike! I'm sorry, if I write it, I have to read it. Freelance photographer Carl Wu was lucky this time. Despite knocking her to the ground and her threatening to press charges, the police decided not to arrest him and instead issued a ticket for riding his bike on the sidewalk. They said an accident's an accident, but this dude was literally holding a massive camera and trying to take pictures of Nicole while he was riding a bike. If I jog into someone I was staring down while holding a battle axe, is that an accident or just a clever way to get revenge on the guy who cut me off at No Frills? It was my turn! Nicole walked away with no injuries, and it was revealed that this was not Carl's first interaction with celebrities in such an outlandish way. He ran into Lady Gaga at an awards show the year before, behaving inappropriately to say the least. A Tumblr page was made for Carl called FU Carl Wu, and there is a word that you haven't heard in a bit. tumbler. In 2023, that's the name of those fancy adult sippy cups. And at number 1, Leonardo DiCaprio. Capping off our list is the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo's had a few run-ins with paparazzi over the years. In fact, in 2014, he fell victim to that Ukrainian prankster that tried to kiss Will Smith. Only this time, the guy decided to snuggle up to Leo's nether regions. But he actually handled that situation pretty well. He laughed it off, and I swear he's mouthing the words, "I love this guy." Well, that guy got tossed out like a napkin, and it's not why he's on this list. The year before, Leo was on his way to meet up with his Wolf of Wall Street co-star Jonah Hill for lunch, when he decided to pull a little pranky poo on Jonah. He ran up to him with his phone, screaming like a crazy fan, and it only took Jonah 2 seconds to realize what was going on, but according to him, his Wolf of Wall Street buddy basically gave him a heart attack. He was beyond scared. When the news found out that tiny piece of information that Jonah was a little scared, the paparazzi blew it up into Leo almost takes out Jonah Hill. There was way too much of a scandal caused from what was just a light-hearted, fun moment between friends. Yeah, I know that's not really a crazy one, but I just wanted to end this list on a lighter note.